All right, welcome once again to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, a passionate, spirit-driven, educational show with a host that is 62, proud to say it, been a rock hound since the age of 11, one of 6 children, no other children got that passion. Mine was developed from a simple family trip to the Cowrie Valley of North Carolina, which of course, for those of you rock hounds that are a little bit more studious about the gemstone side instead of the mineral side, you will know that, excuse me, Macon County, Franklin being the seat of, has a lot of corundum mines, and not only corundum, precious corundum, which is in the form, of course, sapphire and ruby. So, 6 kids, crazy parents, took us to a salted mine. That's where they add the gemstones to the bucket. And I remember to this day finding several. I mean, I'd think it'd been a worthwhile find if I found them now, even what they're charging for the buckets. But even then, I remember the buckets were like, which this is 1972. So, you know, a $4 bucket, that was big money. But there were big pieces of Indian, well-shaped corundum, and in the true sense of the word, could be classified as ruby. But they were from India, of course, but at least we found things, and it was easy to spot. And I remember finding one, I think they weighed, it was like 70 carats kind of thing, and you know, they'll take your picture and put up on the wall and make like it's a big deal. But when I got back to Sarasota, Florida, where we had gone on vacation from, I said, Mommy, Daddy, you know, I have $1 million ruby here. I want to learn how to cut it. And, you know, my parents are always encouraging hobbies. Found an old hippie in the back of a high-end jewelry store out on St. Armand's Circle on Lido Beach off Sarasota. And the rest is history. I went on into silversmithing and goldsmithing and prospecting, and it just has never ended. So everything from lost wax casting, you name it. The only thing I never got into doing, which I wanted to, was hand engraving. Truly a lost art, and I knew one of the last greatest artists in all of Atlanta and Georgia, and if not the Southeast at the time, and he had passed it on to his son. But even then, when I think about time, I think, oh yeah, I'd still be around. But you know, if people that I knew 30 years ago were doing it at 50 years old, I mean, now they're 80. They're not even doing it. So, you know, time really catches up. So, speaking of time, we're going to move on here because I have a really an exciting show that I took days to work on this week. And some of, well, put it this way, you're going to see museum quality, and I do not use that word loosely. And when I say it, it really means something. And yes, I brought a couple pieces of the last of one of the greatest collections of zeolites, specifically the zeolite scolecite, and have the largest piece I have ever brought in. And then just another fun little one. I will just, let's see, step aside here just a bit, right there in front of the knife, to give you a little tease, not only of that knife, which actually has a vein of silver running through the handle, incredible obsidian handle. So if we get to it, we may show you that. But I have a lot of other things. I have 2 diamonds. And they can be actually sold as carat total weights. If you're within 5% of the weight when you see these carat total weight sales, or if they're cluster rings, used to be, and I believe still is, that the guidelines were that you could be within 5% of the weight and be all right. So these are 2 diamonds. I'm selling them separately, but the combined weight is 96 points. So they would easily, you would just say, you know, 100 points to a carat. You would easily say, oh, they're carat total weights. These diamonds match perfectly. I think they're 4.8 millimeters. We'll get them out. We'll look beautifully white and bright stones. So hadn't offered an opportunity. I'm offering them separately, but just let you know, if you want a carat total weight of some incredibly discounted diamonds. These diamonds, you know, and the other thing I don't throw around is is overinflated retail values. So when I tell you that, you know, the stones would be a good deal if you could find them at $1,500 to $2,000 a piece. Yeah, a piece. So just keep that in mind. I won't let you know how much we're going to be offering them for. You're going to have to wait around and see that. You'll be quite shocked. So let's get the show started. Let's get through some comments here. Trivia. Yes, we do have a trivia winner this week, and I'm looking at one of the most beautiful specimens I have ever brought in, and especially since it is cabinet quality size. So first, let's talk and read what our beloved Miss Jan has written us. And she recently, of course, lost her husband, and not long ago lost her son, Josh, who was only 30 something, and my son is in that age range, so I can relate. And she goes and says, I didn't know what to write for the subject, but hugs came out. So there you go. I thank you so much for reading my messages, and I love hearing the support from you and your rock family, our rock family. Thank you, Mr. Anthony, and everyone else. Big red X's and O's she sends. Shawn, as I listened to you reading my message today, it reminded me of something. I didn't forget. I used to talk to my dad about you and show him the pieces I'd get from you. He crossed over to the other side 4 years after my son, both in February, a week apart. He was so much like Dennis, and the more he came to visit, the closer they became friends. That made everything in my life so much better, and Dennis's dog, Blondie. He wasn't a pet person. He liked them, just never wanted one. Blondie made my dad love her. She'd get so excited whenever he came over, and he touched her head and be like, now go along. Okay, go along. Tap, tap. LOL. Every time he touched her head more, the longer he'd pat her head. He even told his poker buddies about Blondie. Soon after, the pets would sit by his legs under the table, or sometimes she'd look at him like, hey, he likes me, and I like you too. Too bad that doesn't come across the way I wanted to, but you get the idea, I hope. Well, maybe I helped it with my inflections. Anyway, Shawn, after Dennis crossed over, I'm watching your show, and I wished I could read to my dad and what you said to me and Dennis. That loss became more heartfelt. I remember the way you spoke about your dad and how sad you felt. Yeah, if we could get through this. And I never told you how sorry I was to hear about your loss and the Raven's near-death experience. How terrifying. I really am so sorry, Shawn. I hope memories of your losses find a way to bring you peace. My dad would have been 88 last week. I felt better that he is now spending the time of his life on my son's fishing boat and enjoying all the food they'd catch and cook for them. That's why I wasn't as reactive, because his life here was miserable. His later years, I mean. My birth giver is the meanest person I ever met, and apparently I wasn't the only one who felt attacked. She made my dad's life a living heck. She's the reason he'd drive to a store parking lot to nap or sleep, to see friendly faces and have nice conversations with. I remember one time she kicked him out of the house and he left. He had a meeting that night and came back to town and went to Motel 6. He sat in his car and saw the time it was, like after midnight, and he didn't want to pay for a full price for half a night, so he slept in his car for 3 days. I'm pretty sure if you picture being a little kid getting in trouble and had to say, I'm sorry, just to take a shower and sleep in the bed in his own room, and in my grandma's words, make nice. Talking to you, meaning me, would be so much easier, LOL. But anyway, I really still miss my dad, Maybe a bit jealous now because he's really in a better place, and I know he'd be first in line of Dennis's family to greet him. Another thing Dennis's dad would say, well, hello there, what's new in the world? And one more, if you please, my son Josh passed away 1 week before Dennis's dad in the same year. She says, by the way, you don't need to read this. I just wanted to share it with you. You're a good man, Shawn. I'm very happy you're a part of my life. I never told you. But I bet that morsel was worth waiting for. You are welcome. I do thank you. Thank you for the time on this novel. I didn't know how much time I meant to spend here. Please know that I still hold my Monday mornings for you. Like most in the Jewish faith say, tradition. Your faithful viewer, Jan and Blondie. And we know that Dennis and Josh are watching just from a different place. Very sweet, Jan. And that didn't take but a minute to read. Always have time for a thought. A good one. Cindy in Pennsylvania says, hello, Rock Family. Wonderful show. Love those selenite lamps. Love everyone's comments. Now that I'm educated to the existence of Lemurian quartz, I will be paying more attention to quartz crystals when I see them. I have a tendency to pass by the quartz crystals. Now will be the lookout for phantoms and striations. Got another rock/garage sale Friday that I'm going to. Trivia. There we go. So, going to the trivia, question was, what is the name used for a gemstone that its color is from an impurity? So, I have said before that why I write down the question is because sometimes the exact wording makes a difference. So in this case, I said, what is the name used for a gemstone that its color is from an impurity? Answer being allochromatic. The second question, what gem or mineral formed the triangular indentation in that aquamarine crystal? And if you think about it, you have to think about what other minerals are commonly associated with aqua, and then you have to think what ones have you seen personally most commonly associated with aqua and could leave an impression. Now that gets into similar hardnesses and whatnot, because remember, calcite is softer and it can dissolve away through a lot of other etching and chemical means, much more so than shoral tourmaline, which, if you remember, most often, if not almost always, is the most common form you find it in, is a triangular shape. Sometimes a little bit rounded or very well defined, but often the termination will be three sides as well. So, answer we were looking for is shoral tourmaline, and even though calcite can form a three-sided crystal, it is not commonly seen associated with aquamarine. How often do we see aquamarines that are etched telling you what kind of hot hydrothermal solutions are running through the pocket or throughout its geologic life? So you can imagine if it can dissolve away aqua at times, what it could do to a calcite crystal. It wouldn't take much, run some vinegar through there or some red wine and you'd be dissolving calcite. So we're looking for shoral tourmaline on the answer there. All right, so with that said, Miss Cindy's answer were allochromatic, getting it right, and shoral tourmaline. Another week was flown by. Wow, time flies when you're not, whether or not you are having fun. See y'all next week. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts says, hello all. Am I not correct in assuming many families share pictures? I think it's only fair the screenshots of Shawn should be shared. Just my 2 cents. And if you missed it, well, watch last week's show, because Dave and I flashed up the picture Dave created of me with my flush face that he magnified many times over. And yeah, so, which, by the way, yes, there are others, because when I discussed this with the Raven, she said, oh yeah, I have a whole file of pictures of you Dave sends me. Yeah, not very complimentary, I'll have you know. But they're stored, and there does exist this secret file. Harry in Massachusetts says, well, which I've been wondering where Harry's been. Well, hey, Shawn and wonderful Raven and the world of rockhounds and lovers of love and kindness, LOL. On the picture of your overexposed red face. Okay, here you go, in reference to. Now, Shawn, I swear there were horizontal striations on your face. Okay, so Harry's going to take this and run with it. I can already see. Well, was that your Lemurian face? Now, if you're wondering what he's referring to, then you didn't watch the other week's show when we had a little lesson about Lemurian quartz and the meaning of it. Could one pulverize those little diamond crystals and make some nice board? 2.25 carat should make a good amount. Yes, actually, it does make a lot. When, you know, I buy these gram different grits, so to speak, of compound, it's in like a paste form and in like a syringe that you can put out on your different laps you might use to charge them with the different grits. And so, you know, I remember years ago, and the price hasn't changed much, but, you know, get a gram, it's like $5 worth, and it lasts a long, long time. I'm thinking, oh, this is a really good deal. But when I think the actual value of the amount of diamond that is inside that compound, I mean, they're making a fortune. They're making more than probably selling a, you know, flawless diamonds, because if you figured it as a price per carat thing, because when you grind them up in different microns of fineness, a little diamond goes a long way when it's into a compound and spread across that. So, yes, those would, except the better deal would be to use those little blue crystal diamonds that I don't seem to be able to have given away. Now, those white ones, those were nice, totally natural quality little diamond crystals. So you wouldn't want to use those. But there's so much industrial grade diamonds. I mean, of the little pieces of diamonds, they recover it all. And so all that goes into the industrial use. And so, like I said, you guys didn't seem to want the little blue, you know, of course, irradiated blue ones, but they were made beautiful crystals, little things. So, you know what I actually did? I was taking some diamonds out of a piece of jewelry, and in the process of it, you're going to get to see, I have some black diamonds today for sale. I had some black diamonds that got on my lead block. So, you know, you can use a lead block to like stamp the inside of a shank of a ring. That way it doesn't damage the shank, but you still get it hard enough to be able to do the impression. Wood is sometimes too soft, and using steel is too hard. It'll leave a dent on the outside of the ring. So I have a lead block around. So anyway, in the process of tapping out the diamonds from the back, and believe me, out of the couple hundred diamonds I removed, and these were like 1 to 3 pointers, I only chipped 2, because when I was teaching benchsmithing, I would say all the time how time versus hand sawing out pave set diamonds kind of thing, where it would take forever to try to saw away the metal. I said, punch them out from behind. I said, you won't break. They'll break. No, I said, no, they won't break. And so sure enough, the breakage rate is really, really low. And the time it takes is a fraction of what other methods, because people think that diamonds are always going to break because of the perfect cleavage. They're really hard, but they're brittle. But from behind they'll come out because they're not like bezel set. So anyway, a little bit tidbit there. So in the lead, when I was removing these other diamonds, I noticed by the end of the process that I actually had hammered some of the black diamonds into the lead, and the lead kind of just formed around it. I thought, wow, you know, if I was into making lead jewelry, this would be an easy way to just pave set a plate, because, you know, you could just literally tap them down with a plastic mallet into the lead, and the lead formed around. I don't know, it was just kind of easy. Like, it looks so much easier than hammer setting so many diamonds I've done flush setting on. Okay, fine. Next, Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts says, hello all, am I not, oh, read that one. Harry, let's see. He's the one talking about, yeah, breaking up the little diamonds. It would work. 20.25 carat would go a long way. Goes on to say, and he sent me pictures of a topaz that he cut. So the dark orangish pink included bar cut topaz is, in my opinion, imperial, which it is, by the way. Harry, I agree with you. And also, I got a chunk of topaz from a jeweler that just wanted to get rid of it. Okay, right there, bells should have been going off. He thought it was quartz. I used to go to him to get my battery changed on my Movado black sapphire bracelet luxury model museum watch. That's a mouthful, but it sounds like a nice watch, which is incredible for black sapphire panels on all the links in the bracelet. Yes, I have seen that. That's a nice watch. I can't even find another one out there to this date. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen one, but I've seen how they use black sapphire in bands, and because it is so durable. Anyway, now you know why I take it to a pro to do the battery. So back to the stone he gave me. I had no clue it was topaz because it wasn't even touched by cerium, so I ended up doing diamond on my Corian lap. I used that lap for all my hard stuff, so I cut up the crystal slab and cut all these pink. So he showed me pictures of about 5 or 6 pink diamonds. Wouldn't that be nice? Pink topaz that were really clean. So my question to you on that one, Harry, is the color of the pink is very even across all the stones, and I did not see much for inclusions. He would have to think it was pink quartz, but we know that rose quartz, if he knows anything about gemstones, is never completely transparent unless it is synthetic of some sort. You know, unless you do test the refractive index of it, for it to be topaz and be as clean as it was and the even color tone, I would have to question that. So you may want to look into that again. It could easily be a morganite, maybe, if you were looking for a genuine stone answer that could be hard enough for cerium not to do a good polish on. I don't use cerium for anything harder than a hardness of 6. So it's actually my cabochon soft stone, like opal cabochon. But anymore, I pretty much use diamond for everything. But yeah, it would. But if that was all genuine topaz, then yeah, any pink color tone like that, even though it wouldn't be the really high end that has some of the orange or sherry colors running into it, the pink color tone alone would make it valuable enough to be an imperial type of gem. But again, it would be quite fine, and he would have given away quite the prize. Nice stone cutting, nevertheless. Sorry I haven't been chiming in, he says. The imperial color is good for the color. Yes, it is. Looking for your opinion, and you got it. And so, Shawn, one reason I haven't been viewing and participating in the show is I just end up loving so many of the things I just can't afford anything. And I have in here no excuse, because you got to watch the show. You know, all of us can't afford everything we watch. I mean, I know how you feel, though. When I used to watch those, like, mountain cabin real estate shows, I couldn't stand watching it because I wouldn't ever be able to afford anything like that. Maybe I wouldn't even want something like that, but I definitely know the feeling of envy. It actually would make me feel out of place and not like I shouldn't feel the way I was feeling, which was probably jealousy, envy, all those nice, good, fat things we're not supposed to have emotions for. So I do understand that. But this show, if you watch it from an educational standpoint, that should be enough reason for you to watch it for that. And just pretend nothing's for sale. Everything Shawn is selfishly keeping to himself. But I'm glad you're back. Stay that way. Let's see. Okay. Looking at that Portuguese cornea pine, looks like the crown height could have been higher, just my opinion. Yes, if it was a Portuguese cut crown and pavilion. But that's why I talked about it being a modified Portuguese. That means the pavilion was Portuguese cut and the crown is a round brilliant cut, as I had mentioned. So if you're using round brilliant cut, the angles, the height was appropriate enough. Certainly got the beautiful brilliance out of it without having to add and use up additional material it would have taken to cut a higher crown. Small stone like that, a full Portuguese, wow, 161 facets, that would be something. I thought Goshenite was only from Massachusetts and anywhere else, just clear barrel, huh? Well, I guess that's a new one on me. Yeah, pretty much, because I don't know if you think about it in the market, do you ever hear anyone ever talk about clear barrel? I haven't. It's the Goshenite that's always been used. So a lot of times initial meanings don't always carry through to what is generally accepted in the market now. You know, things like key to the door versus golden barrel, etc. So, yeah, clear barrel in the world of gemstones, if you were using the words clear, you're talking about transparency. And if you want something like clear as in a fine white diamond, then the term generally used is clear white. So then you're talking about the clarity, and because you can have a clear blue diamond or a, clear red diamond, that kind of meaning to it. So especially with the multicolors of the barrel family, if you say clear barrel, it is not informative enough to know that you're referencing a clear white barrel. So just a little additional information on the way the market sees and puts words to things, and that's the way I would view it, using that word. Let's see, trivia. A property for stone getting its color from an outside source is irradiated or irradiation. What an excellent answer. And this is where the wording comes in. So as he rewrote it, instead of what I wrote was how it gets it from an impurity versus from an outside source. So two hugely different categories. From an outside source, you'd be absolutely correct. Radiation would be a great answer to that question. But if you're using it as from an impurity, irradiation isn't an impurity. So that's why I said it's always important to make sure you listen to those words. Not tricky words, just words. I believe that little pocket that held another common mineral associated in a pegmatite for aquamarine is muscovite. And muscovite, again, would be an excellent answer because actually it is one of the most common other minerals found with Irongo aquamarine. But the issue, and this is where simple, basic knowledge of crystallography or knowledge of some of the most common minerals, what the most common crystal form they might be found in, and mica is very distinct. Mica is going to be 6 sides. That's how many sides are in muscovite mica, which is what you find most commonly with those aquas. And so with the 6 sides, technically, if it would have been a 6-sided indentation, could have been it, but being 3 sides, that discounts the possibility of it being mica. But wonderful answer nonetheless. And he goes on to say, and yes, please pray for our loved and lost in Maui, and that they figure out how to avoid this horrible incident from happening. Love all you guys, Harry. We love you back, Mr. Harry. And we have Travis in Indiana. He says, hello, Shawn. Your show is very educational. I've learned more through your show than any book could ever teach me. I've always been more of a visual learner. Thanks to you and the crew for that. Great show. The brucite specimen is amazing. Yes, it is. Answer. Trivia answer. Allochromatic, getting the first one right. On the second one, on the calcite hematite specimen you mentioned, the calcites were 3-sided. So I'll say a calcite made the indentation on the aquamarine. Well, there you go. Excellent answer, and very well thought out in regards to the crystallography of the situation. Calcite is, like I said, often can be found with the aquamarine, but not nearly as common as the shoal tourmaline. And the shoal tourmaline will almost always have that type of termination, and it's way more commonly found with aqua from that area than calcite is. And the other thing is that because of the hardnesses of the two, most likely the only thing that wouldn't chemically all the time be able to bond and thus and disassociate itself would be something along the lines of tourmaline in the aqua versus something much softer like calcite and aqua. You get into whole atomic bonding, and that's complicated for anybody. So just know that it is no harder than the simplest, what is it? I think that's Occam's razor. The simplest answer is usually the correct one. And so, yeah, the simplest, most likely answer would be shoal tourmaline. So that's what I'm going with. And Miss Barbara says, have a great week. Excellent answer, by the way, Mr. Travis in Indiana. Barbara says, hey, Professor Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. I've had fun the past few days doing research. A funky donkey with the emerald backpack gave me a fruit salad of colors under UV light. If all of you will remember, she won, as part of a trivia prize, one of those burros with a saddlebags on the back of some hessonite garnet rough I included, and then also some greenstones, some genuine, a little like a little fruit salad of things. So let's see what she says. Fruit salad of colors under UV light. And I wanted to check out that Santa Eulalia calcite specimen in the mineral record. As you said, not all the chips are emerald, and I'm having a blast trying to figure them all out, but with my Chelsea filter. The clear calcite from the Potosi mine is truly old, since the top layer of those mines, the oxidation zone, was exhausted multi-decades ago as they dug through it to the sulfide zone. The picture referenced is of a clear calcite crystal of the same type. So your specimen is a real treasure. It was great having a reason to read that mineral record issue by Mexico's super collector and or geologist Peter Magoo. Absolutely. That's neat that you read that. Condolences to Miss Jan. Big hug. Both Larry and Brad had difficulties ordering items not in the system. Hope they both emailed you with details as I suggested. Can't be missing orders when trying to finance Toothy. So what happens, because they didn't email me, Miss Barbara, but what they can hear themselves is that items are held for 3, usually no more than 4 weeks. After that period of time, they're logged out of the system and returned to me, the items not sold. So they may still be available, but I have them, and unless I re-show them and put them back into the system by showing them, then they'll either be able to tell you it's definitively sold, or it'll just won't give them any information at all, and that means most likely I have it. So if you want something, you can be guaranteed that it would be whoever is interested in the item, and just say it in the comments in this show, because nothing, when it comes back to me, it's locked back up in my office here, and no one else has access to it. So no one else can get an item and sell it without it passing through my hands. So that being said, if you you can write the item number in the comments to me, and then I'll hold it, and they'll contact, well, you know how it works, Miss Barbara. They'll contact them and complete the sale. So, but that's why, and that's the way the system is going to be, you know, if it's past the period of time where they would be returned to me. So, but if they were like within the week of, then it should be in the system and all good. And if not, then, you know, customer service will open a and have a look at it and look into it. Love the polished with the Coochie coral pear and huge trilobite pear. Kilauea volcano is another rock site with a curse. Madame Pele doesn't like tourists taking home pieces of her house. The Park Service has a whole display and rock pile of returned chunks from people whose luck turned bad after nicking a souvenir. As to the trivia, color from outside the formula is allochromatic, inside is idiochromatic, correct. A triangle-shaped crystal impression would be tourmaline, probably black coral in Orongo. Very good on that one. And yeah, you know, with all the rocks, you know, it's tough for Pele to claim all that lava across all those islands. Can't give up one little piece. But here's the thing that would drive me nuts is to go to the beach that is all peridot sand, or for the most part, peridot sand, which there is one. And it's like, oh, wow, the kind of, you know, gemstone paintings I could make with that material. So, all right, I think, let me see, does that, oh, she finishes with after getting the trivia right. Cooler, drier weather has blessed us in the Northeast. Hope that spreads out to everyone soon. Take care. Oh, Barbara from Brooklyn. P.S. I just tried for the Santa Eulalia piece and was happy to see one of our family already got it. Enjoy. As long as it goes within one of the family, then I know that it's found the place it was supposed to be at the time. So, okay. There was, I think, 3 people, Cindy, Anthony, and Barbara, getting the answers right. So that's pretty good odds to win the prize. And so picking a number out of the hat, matching a name, this week it is Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Let's show Cindy what she won. And you could never go wrong with a Japanese rainbow garnet. I figured, you know, look at that. Look at this one. These that I have offered compared to what I have seen, look at that, on the internet are just exceptional. Exceptional, every one of them. And to then offer them free, well, you know what kind of, you can put a whole dollar value on those, actually, because you've seen enough. This one is actually several little crystals together, and that's why there is so many different angles that you can see iridescence off of. Look at even in the mirror reflection. This is considered, there's no even close second, by far, to be the finest iridescent garnet in the world is from this locality. And collecting has been severely, look at that blue, curtailed since 2005. It was only discovered, well, GIA says 2004. Another source says 2002. So what it was, it caused such a huge rush of rock hounds basically to that site that the city fathers of the Tenkawa village closed it down with penalties of jail time that they actually issued. So yeah, this is not something even available anymore. And it is, look at that reflection. You see blue on top, green in the mirror. Wow. You cannot even find anything like that. All right, that's gonna wrap it up. Let me put that away and get ready for the show. Well, out of everything you could have ever maybe thought of me showing, I bet it wasn't this. No, but in this show, it can be jewelry, gemstones, fossils, minerals, and beyond, truly beyond. So, in this case, I have a pair of earrings. And what makes these so unusual is they're straight clip-ons. Ladies, how many of you, many of you, and I don't blame you and understand it, never got your ears pierced. Well, here is an opportunity, because I can't put posts on it, but I'm offering such a good deal. These have the really expensive, of course, French clips that many times, you can solder a post there, but because, look at this. This is some of the finest lapis you will ever see. And I know my lapis, and I have had and do have fine rough lapis. Look at this lapis. This material has no calcite in it, and if Dave can find it, only really small, tiny flakes of pyrite, telling you that it's the real thing. Look at this piece. And like I said, they're really small. So this lapis, to be that rich of color, free of lapis, and just to let you know, ladies, and yes, I did this, I put these on and I danced up and down, because as a goldsmith, when I would install French clips like this, I had to make sure that that they weren't clipping too tight on the ear, and that they were hitting in the right place on the ear for them to stay on. So, yes, other than that, you probably wouldn't find me with the earring, but no problem with guys having that. It just wouldn't be a lapis earring like this, would it? But yeah, they held on fine through my rigorous dance quality control measures. Price on these, imagine what these would be, especially with those French clips. The hardware alone, if I was to order it, is over $150 just for those parts you see on the back. In the case of the entire pair of earrings, it's $148. Yeah, and you get both of them. Yep, I'm not kidding, because at $148, you should, at best, get one. But if you're really actually buying that quality lapis for lapis, there would be not any other pair I could ever tell you that would have or use that quality, higher quality. And that's why I didn't just, I got these in this state, and why I didn't just break them down for the gold and the stones. I kept them together because it was something that, being me, that I would offer, which would be the unique part of it being the quality of the lapis used in that instance. Now, here is another piece that would be an atypical of something that Shawn would show. Item number 1131123. 1131123. And let's go to made in the USA. That was made in Afghanistan by way of the lapis, which would be a little harder to get lately. This Washington State nephrite jade. And if you're familiar with Washington State, then you know that this particular color is a color representative of a good bit of the washing material that I've seen. Of course, there's other colors as well, but this is, if I saw that and I was to have to make an educated answer, remember, not a guess, an educated answer, it would be Washington State. It just happens to be that I know that it comes from Washington State, but yeah, the color, it does give that away. So here you go. And, oh, here's the other neat thing. In case you ever wondered this is truly what marcasite should look like. These are big enough, and you can see against the sterling silver background. Marcasite is a polymorph, and isn't it neat that from long ago you know what a polymorph now is? A polymorph is another mineral that has the same chemical composition, but due to a different crystal structure, is a completely different mineral altogether. So you have polymorphs of, kyanite or sillimanite and andalusite. Think how different those are, but chemically they are identical. So, rutile and brookite and anatase, those are polymorphs of rutile, and on and on. So what we have is a polymorph of pyrite. Those look like pyrite. That brassiness to them, so they use marcasites. They're more durable. So this actually has large enough. Look at the little ones too, the little round ones, and it's really neat. They're faceted, and these had to be hand cut. I mean, it's kind of a neat piece because this is, if I was going to sell something, this would be something that Shawn would sell. Again, got it in an estate, so I can offer it a lot less. It's a size 9 roughly, I think, and it's not something I would want to put heat to size, so maybe I could size it up a little bit, but it's not something I want it to go down, because then you're applying heat to silver, and with those particular stones in there, it could cause issues. It's just something you want to avoid. But a lot of people won't tell you that. They try it, and then the ring's ruined, and then no one gets to have it. So anyway, $36. Yeah, $36. Now, at $36, you don't get any free sizing, but sizing on like that, I could only go up a little bit, so it'd be like $20 if you needed it to go up. It's just not one of those things I could do free sizing. Consider the time it would take. All right, now I have some other cool jewelry pieces, but there's so many things that I want to show you. Let me show you one more in between item. 113-0123. 113-0123. And this is in between, because what we have is pretty much an organic gemstone. However way mother of pearl might be classified, more of a carving material, but of course, beautiful mother of pearl cameos and other things that have been done once they're carved. This is carved out of one solid piece of mother of pearl, and it's great thickness for mother of pearl, and has I think it's a little sterling silver. It's not stamped, but it's probably a sterling silver pail. But either way, $9. How about that? $9. And what's amazing is it is truly hand carved. That would have been hand carved. Someone would have look at that. You can even see how the shell, growth lines of the shell there. So, and then to sit and carve that for $9. So let me just lean that right there for a moment while I get this next item out, and then item 113-1023. 113-1023. And I tell you what, I had to fight back the Raven, and she was helping out, and it was going to be okay if she went next door already, because I didn't want her to see exactly what she ended up seeing, which I knew her when she saw these, that it was going to be one of those little pouty faces. And it's not, if I showed you the border shorts, it's not like she doesn't have something else, but she doesn't have these. Look at these. Look at the kyanites. When kyanites, remember, this was a great segue. We just mentioned kyanite, didn't we? Because it's a polymorph of andalusite. Imagine a polymorph of andalusite. And one of my favorite, playchroic gems, if not my favorite, to go from a copper red to an olive green. Stunning. Anyway, way undervalued too. And then sillimanite, named after a professor of mineralogy at Yale, Silliman. So these have iolites at the bottom. Speaking of Aren't I being clever? Speaking of playchroic gems, iolite is another one that is one of the most playchroic gems that there is, meaning it changes color with the different directions that you turn it. Look at these. These are actually so nice. They have that clip on the bottom, and I put some spring into them. And silver is not one of those metals, sterling silver is not one of those metals that you get metal fatigue like so many other metals. In other words, when you bend it back and forth, it eventually breaks. No. So actually, as you bend this wire back and forth to clip it on there, it will actually, what we call work harden, and put more spring in it. True story. So, and in the world of metalsmithing, here's a just another little informational tidbit. If this had more spring than I wanted it to, or maybe the customer didn't want it to have any spring, and to, let's say, do away with that, no spring in it, and just wanted to put them through the ear. So, how do you take a work hardened piece of metal and bring it back to its maximum ductability? Is to heat it up to just a light cherry color, and then it does away with it. So if I'm going to tell you how you make something springier, I should tell you how to undo it, just for information that next time you're doing some metalsmithing, you can use, right? All right, so these, yeah, they are way cool, and because they have that really interesting iolite for color change, you know, that's just it. Raven knows gemstones pretty well, to the point that she knows the properties of them, so she would love them for the properties of both of those. But, you know, again, she didn't even know these existed. She is going to be able to, you know, go on living without them. I just don't know, next time better just to not have her help me quite all the way. Here we go. Ready? I am offering that pair for, wait. A really good deal. And here it is. I am going to make that pair only, you know what, I bet she did. She did. She taped it on the bottom. Look at that. All right. $38. I know, all that for $38. But that's why you like the show. Okay, so let me put away a few things, and I'll be right back with some more. All right. One of the items that you have been waiting for. You weren't sure what you were waiting for, but believe me, this is one of them. First, let's start off with a relative size. Here's my hand. All right, so you get the idea. This is what would be considered as a cabinet quality in size and cabinet quality in its rarity and in its aesthetic display attributes. So all the way around, this is what you look for. And I tell you what, when Raven saw it, she knew right away. I said, she goes, you're not selling that. I said, yeah. I said, you know, gave her the reasons, and I said, you probably don't even know where it was. She goes, I know. She goes, on the second shelf on the first bookcase in the entranceway on the right-hand side. I said, okay. Yeah, we have had and enjoyed this for a number of years. This is absolutely a close personal specimen, and you'll be able to see why. So I want to show you. This is actually sitting on felt. So you know how uneven felt is. So it is self-displaying without the need of a stand, even on an uneven surface. So, in other words, like all my shelves I make glass. So, on something hard like that, it stands even more rigid. And that is completely natural, because that bottom face like that, and I'm going to show you in a minute, is the only way I see that it was ever attached. If not, this is like a floater specimen, like it, grew that way without having been attached to a host wall. But I think there's some sign to that, but it'd be rare if something like that large wasn't. This is from a well-known mine, the Casapalca mine, and it produces some stunning sphalerite and calcites and some other goodies. So let's look at this a little closer. Look at these. These are sphalerite. Yes, the same mineral that can produce the gem quality, oranges and reddish sphalerites. Look at this. So when sphalerite has a higher iron content, you'll get this darker metallic, opaque look to it. The good sphalerite versus like tetrahedrite is going to be very reflective and bright like this. In other words, the crystal faces are well defined, and you're going to get that stunning brightness. Now that's the sphalerite. Let's look at the calcites. Now, let me show you. When I was looking at this, I was just looking at kind of these floret ones. All of a sudden, I started focusing in on, let me get my pointer, on the phantom ones. Let's look at this one right here. There's actually two right next to each other. Look at the phantom growth. So you have, see that pinnacle, the white pinnacle, overgrown by a secondary growth of more clear calcite. You have that same formation here. Those are very desirable. The combination of having the phantoms with these other formations of calcite, that's what makes a really nice balance. Look at how many of them are the scalenahedral or dogtooth formation with the phantom on the inside of it. Now, wow, this is lined all around it with more. You can see more of the phantom ones throughout. Then, what do we come upon down here? What could that be? Well, if you look at it closer, in the form it's in, it's kind of difficult to tell. But let's look at this form. I would love to be able to tell you that is 22 karat gold. No, that is chalcopyrite. In other words, pyrite with a shot of copper in the chemical formula. They're making chalcopyrite. And you have, look at this, those are chalcopyrite sprinkled throughout. Adding the extra touch. Now this is where I was talking about what was the bottom that this was sitting on. This it looks like was the contact point for where it had continued to grow from. And so imagine that big area of chalcopyrite crystals would have never been seen. It was actually inside the continuing portion here. And that's what I always say, don't I? I say, you never know what's inside these things. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, why is this getting so exciting around the edge? Well, we're not done with this one side first. Let's continue around. Here is another phantom formation. Beautiful other calcites here. More chalcopyrite. Look at the chalcopyrite down in the crevices. See that? Some also different color reflections. I did not take a high intensity lamp to some of these. At the edges, you may find some dark red kind of ruby jack colors. I'm not sure. I have not amped up the light to check it out. All right, now, let me show you. Most of the time, due to the way crystals will grow in a pocket or a vug, you have one side that they're growing out from, and the back side of specimens often is just part of what was continuing on to be the matrix, and of nothing of any notice or any importance or anything spectacular. But think of this, okay? I already told you that this was the contact point along here. So this might have been in a vug that allowed growth on one side and growth, look at this, on the other. Look at this. Now, there we go, as Dave works his magic on the lighting of it. This is entire face, a younger version of the other, except in calcite. This is layered in calcite. And as we go closer, you're going to be able to see all the crystals here as we look at this closer. And sphalerite as well. There is some surface, I don't know if that's like a chlorite or something on the surface, left to be explored. But look at this. So when you turn the angle on it and get the glare off, you can see everything that's here. Now, there's a good chance there's another 1 or 2 minerals lurking on this, without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you look closer, okay, like, give you an idea. You see, when you start looking at it, you look for anything that looks a little bit out of the norm, and then go in and look closer at it. This is a world class specimen, and it is from a locality known to produce stunning specimens, and it's a mining town. It's amazing. All it is a mining town, classic mining town. All the buildings are painted these bright colors, but they all belong to the miners, and there's nothing else in the town except for, the miner's store, etc. But at least, I think a lot of these specimens are allowed to be mined and allowed to be extricated, because they know there is a world market for these kind of things, and once they're destroyed for ore, they are no more. All right, so I'm going to set this on this stand, and I'll leave it up to you if you want to get your own stand. I could maybe include it. I could be generous. All right, let me put that right here. Let me show you just how stunningly beautiful and large that is. Double-sided piece. A specimen like this size, this kind of quality, with all the known provenance to it, you could easily expect $888. $888. And it would be a value at that price. But when I mark it for only $348, yes, Shawn did one of those little price it up to mark it down deals. Never do that. So I had to do it because I never get to do that. But in the reality of it, you know who's going to be telling me? There's going to be a Miss Barber. There's going to be a Miss Gabby. There's going to be the Brads, the Lisa's, the other people that go to these shows and know how much something like this would cost in a regular environment, and then realize that for that amount of money, you might get a little corner section, a specimen maybe that big for $348. To get one, remember, the bigger they are, the rarer they are to extricate, to if they're smuggled, to smuggle them out, and the more that can be wrong with the piece, truly. So that's a giveaway. Yeah, I like that stand. Actually, we're going to use stand. It kind of props it up. It's clear, so that'll be one I'll include with it. All right, make that one yours. We have so much more to do. Next, coming up. You're going to love this. Item number 1130923. 1130923. And Raven saw these, but she held back because she already had copped a pouty face. Look at these. These are really pretty. And, you know, they're garnets. They're well-cut garnets. They actually have a low iron content for being an iron garnet, an almandine garnet. So I'm kind of thinking that they might be into the pyrope family. But these are a awesome opportunity for you, because when I tell you the price, I mean, it's like, you know, kind of crazy to even take the time to sell them for the price I'm going to offer them for. But that price is only $24. $24. Look at that. $24 sterling silver. Nice black onyx. Beautiful cushion cut. All right, let me put away a few things and I'll be back in a minute. Okay. So I don't know if I've ever offered what you're getting ready to see. A parcel of black diamonds. Yeah. 68 stones in here. If there might be 69, I don't know. But either way, carat 60 total weight. So what is that? Average 2 pointers. So they go from like 1.3 millimeters to, well, hold on. Let's just dump those out there. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that neat? Black diamonds. And wait till you hear how inexpensive. I won't have another parcel. This was, again, just a by chance opportunity that I had these. I thought I had measured them, but I see that I didn't. But I remember I did. So they were like 1.2 millimeters and went up to like around 2 millimeters or so. And these are so commonly used to accent other pieces of jewelry. They're great because they have the hardness of diamond. So you can do things with these that in setting that you wouldn't be able to do with other items. You know, for adding to other pieces of jewelry, it's probably a lifetime of use of black diamonds. There's enough in there to do a channel set, little band or something if you wanted to. Because you could have all that you'll probably ever need for only, all of them, $68. $68. Wait, I didn't realize 68 stones. Hey, I did not even plan it that way. So that's $1 a stone. And if you do the math on the price per carat, it's, I don't know, like $40 a carat, something like that. And that's a good deal. That's a good deal. Don't let it get away from you, because there's not going to be another parcel that you'll be able to get. And a lot of times black diamonds are really beat up when you look at them, what they have used. This isn't the case. They're not nearly the starting quality as bad as, you know, because if you don't worry about clarity, you can start with, you know, qualities a lot lower than white diamonds, because of course they're disguised by the darker color. But when they're set with high quality white diamonds, which these were, they have to at least face up well without surface chips and places broken out of them. So take advantage at $1 a stone. What a deal. Okay, since we're talking about diamonds here, I am just going to kind of push those to the side. I don't want to have to go through dumping them out at a moment. We'll take a moment break to put those up. I am going to get out those 2 large stones I want to show you. This is one rare opportunity. Okay, I have them in diamond papers. Let's look at the first one, which is going to be item 113 1223. 113 1223. And okay, I am matching up the so they were 48 points, 4.7 millimeters, and one let's see. Okay, faceted girl. Okay, yep, here we go. All right, let me show you. You can see as I take it out of the paper. Remember, we had a little lesson on exactly what to do and how to fold these papers. So what I did for you, because if you look at this paper, even the papers they supply, we used to call these are your buy-in paper you would use. So you want to buy on a paper that has a little bit of color so it looks like your diamond is more yellow. You know, remember, you're buying. So, because I'm going to show you, and I brought it along. So I'm just going to plop this diamond right down. I showed you before that diamonds are graded from their side. All right, now let me show you. What I have in my fingers, I just homemade, took what I keep around as a true white. Look at the difference in the color. Now, mind you, this is a diamond paper I have. These papers are made to trade diamonds in. When you compare the color and get, you know, when I just took the glare off it like I did, look at the difference. This is not white. That is a true white. So, that's why we used to say the difference in the paper. Then we get out the real white ones. When we're selling a diamond, we get, and we used to keep papers that we would come across that were actually this white. We used to order, let me show you. See these little trays? I have so many of these because we'd order them at, say, a white tray. We'd get it in and it'd be everything from a light lavender to a off yellow. And when we'd get them, we'd actually start comparing them, and they wouldn't be a true white at all. So anyway, let me show you. Put this diamond against a true piece of white paper, and it disappears. That's exactly what it does. No, here it is. We'll catch up with it right there. So look at this. And again, they're graded. I guess it'd be better if I held it with tweezers. All right, looking at it, look at that from above. When you have a diamond that is cut so well, the brilliance will mask out often slight tints of color. So what you do, you want to look at it through its side, which takes away that brilliant factor. You know, GIA doesn't even teach practical gemology. That's gemology of, you know, as a buyer, you know, the things you do actually and look for. And one of the things is teaching that they need to stress more of is the different color of white pieces of paper. All right, so put against a true white. Now you can see a little difference in color, can't you? Hence the clarity I have as HI. Now, it's not a D, an E, or an F. Those are the top 3 white colors, D, E, F. The next range is GHI. If anything is in the GHI, you're in great shape. Visual color from above starts to become visible at about the color J. This is, you know, well stronger than that. A lot of people would grade this as probably a GH, but I'm critical of that. Now, let me show you If I put it on this paper and look at it from the side, you don't see the difference in color so much. And hence, to keep around a completely free piece of paper that is a true white. Now, that being said, if we were looking at these as a pair of earrings, the subtle differences we're talking about are completely negated by your hair, by the shadowing, and by the fact that nobody but your loved one better be in your close personal space. So an earring, remember, your hand, you can grab a hand and pull it up to you and look at someone's engagement ring without, getting slapped or insulting them. But an earring, no, go get your head closer to theirs to look at an earring. No, that doesn't happen. So you can be more forgiving if you want and go with a lower clarity if needed. These happen to be really fine. They're more like engagement ring quality. Now, as we look closer at this, at the girdle is the part that goes around the edge, and I can actually see it from here. As I rotate it, you see those reflecting colors on the edge? Those are facets. In other words, that girdle is a faceted girdle. All the way around, those little reflections at the edge of the stone. Now, I'm clever enough. And so you're looking at that edge right there that separates the crown from the pavilion. Now, they would classify that girdle as medium in thickness. In other words, most girdles aren't quite that thick. That one is a little bit thicker. And there's a natural on it. So a natural, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but there's a natural, because remember we talked about a natural as part of the original crystal that is usually left on the edge of the girdle to retain more weight than cutting it out. It's not visible from above, and it is usually always disguised by a prong. All right, so we're gonna let that sit there for just a moment, and I am going to get out. Oh, by the way, price on that one stone, $288. I am talking about a stone that should be $1,500 or more. $288. Now, this next stone, item number 113-1323. 113-1323. Now, let me show you, and I have this, everything being similar, the diameter, same. The only little bit of difference is a inclusion a little bit larger, thus I think making it a clarity grade lower. But we're talking about earrings. Let's look from above. Look at the brilliance of that stone. Looks just like the other, doesn't it? Yeah, they are a great match. They are a great match. And now let's look at it from the side. Now, let's compare, because this is how you're getting a level of lesson here that is often not even taught in the best of schools, because you're talking about diamonds, real diamonds, not talking about cubic zirconia or anything else. Okay, so you have two diamonds side by side now. And this is when it becomes a little bit more obvious color differences. So since I split grade both of these and making them both H and I, if having them side by side, I think it would be pretty much anybody could say, you say, which one has more color? You don't say which one is more, brown or more yellow or anything like that. You just say which has more color, because what you're looking for, a true colorless diamond, is just that, colorless. It has no color. So in this case, I think all of us would agree the diamond on the right, but you would never know that. You would never know that. You can see, so I would say the one on the left is an H, the one on the right is an I, and there, that is how subtle one color grade difference is. And, just due to time, this is the only show where you can actually get hands-on and see firsthand and learn firsthand exactly how this is done in the professional market. Now, what I'm trying to show you is why diamonds are graded on the side is because when you have when you take into account a well-cut diamond, you have a lot of brilliance. That little bit difference in the shade of color has to overcome for it to become visible, or for Shawn to be able to chase it down. So if we compare these two side by side, look at that. See what I mean? If I did, wow. Look at that. Okay, let me add a little bit more light to these. So I know which one is which, but if I was to look at these from above now and to guess and to say which one was the one that looked like it had more color, looking at these right now, I would say the top one. The reality of it is the top one is the one that was the one that was whiter. But again, looking at them from above, that's the way they're going to face up. That's the way everyone's going to see them, is how do they look there. So in the world of match pair of diamond earrings, those are fantastic. Fantastic. This one, the bottom one, if you look at around, I don't know, maybe I'm even making it up, might be the cut, but around 11 o'clock or so, right there being noon, of course, the top of the diamond, maybe right there where the bottom prong is pointing. There might be a little bit of something I see there, but you at an SI2, you shouldn't even be able to see that, and I don't think I really can. Let's see if we can see it from the back. Not really, because everything bounces off the tweezers as well. So look at that. 2 exceptionally fine diamonds, and I've actually, in case you don't want to get them as a pair, look at how well, that's just it. What you really want, what is visible to the eye, is differences in size. They are exactly the same size. The eye from above, the color, right in the same exact same color and clarity, both SI stones. Now, this one, the only last thing I need to show you so you understand the complete purchase of either one or both, this has what is known as a polished girdle. In other words, that part that goes around the stone, and we'll look at that as best we can right here, will not have those little faces that I was able to find because they reflected light. Nope. So you see that part right there in the middle, it's reflecting. That is just polished. In other words, the girdle doesn't have facets cut. But what it is, instead of what they call a frosted girdle, that's where they don't polish that part at all, which is really one of the most common ways they still cut diamonds. So to have a polished girdle is a bonus, and then the faceted girdle is a bonus on top of that. So a very, very fine stone. All right, this stone, I even, for the little bit of difference, I don't know why, because the other one was priced so low, I could have made them both the same price. But I actually separated it and made it a little bit less. So if you liked the second one and buying them separate, $258. So $258, $288 on the first one, $258 on the second one. So just to not mix up, we have, let's see, the right item, yep, $258, yep, right on. So the 113, 1323, $258, that is correct. And then the other one, which remember is a little bit better color, and that would be enough to make up a little bit of difference. And they both have naturals on the girdle. I meant to say that as well. Nothing you'd be able to see, but they have that feature being identical as well. All right, so I think you saw the two next to each other. What a beautiful pair. If you ever wanted a carat total weight pair of diamond earrings that would be $3,000 plus for, less than, a little bit over $500, then now's the time. There won't be another deal like that. All right, give me a moment. Let me put these up. I'll be right back. All right, don't you just love it? You never know what's next. I think it's neat. I like that freedom of not having a orchestrated show. You know, this beautiful. Mother Nature, not only her faceting, now these happen to be polished faces, but when they do that, they're only polishing natural faces that are on the quartz. Other than that, it'd take them forever. The rutile, which part is the most beautiful? The rutile, the reflections, the irises, the water vapor inclusions. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's just simply beautiful. And, you know, there's so many things you can do with this. Look at that angle, actually. Did you just see that at that angle? I had never seen. Look at that prism in there. Who knows how the mechanics of it created that. Look at that. Look, oh, wow. Did you see that one? I'm looking at the rutile. Look at those. And I had not seen those before in this piece. You know, the majority of inclusions are quartz, are water vapors, like what you're seeing in here. It's water, for the most part, squished together in there. And there's nothing, as we know, after or during a rain shower, nothing better to make a rainbow than water. Look at that. So, let's look at the rutile. Look at the beveled edge back here. Here's just a fun piece that, well, hold on. Since we are a one-stop Photoshop, let's put this right on here. Look at that. So that's my simple little flashlight I use. And this is how you can create night lights so easily. Night lights that are meaningful. Wow, thanks, Dave. That's beautiful. Thank you, sir. Night lights being meaningful, meaning all the, you know, metaphysical things that could be in these mineral specimens and quartz. Quartz is one of those positive ones. Amethyst. Amethyst is a really good one as well. I actually found my voltmeter, and I shouldn't have, because what did I start doing? I started hooking it up and pressing on, because remember, piezoelectric, which is what quartz is, terminating apatite, meaning when you press on the crystal, it generates electricity. And we proved it right here on this show years ago. You know, we've been doing just this show for 6 years. And I showed the voltage was measurable. Now, you know, you have to have a good enough voltmeter, but it was simply measurable. And that told me right then that there's something to the science behind the metaphysical attributes that they attribute to some of these mineral specimens. There's actually a science that can explain some of not the coincidences, but the facts of some either better mood, or, you know, that's what they say, ionized air and the warmth of a salt block. I used to sell, well, you know that, some of you, I sold some of the last few I had of those salt blocks. Anyway, this crystal, I could go on and on. Just in my mind swirls all this information, and I just can run from one item to the next. $48. $48 on that. 350 carats. That has to be a deal. Okay, what I am getting ready to show you is another one of the rarities. Yeah, and this one was in a perky box. I'm going to show you because you get the box with it. Item number 1130423. 1130423. These are the specimens that I had gotten in an estate, and I had gotten them in a state, and some were like nothing I'd ever had. And this was one of them. Let me show you. So this was the Perky box it was on. And you get the Perky box. So I even put it on there with box. But this is what the real prize is. Look at this. Now, I'm just going to try one thing here, Dave. You can still leave your lights on because I want to see. This was so... Okay. That's what I want to show. Yeah. All right. So this one does pick up what I was hoping it would. All right. So let me actually get a little further back. All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. So, cerussite or cerussite, depending on how you listen to it and where you place the syllable. It belongs to the aragonite family. And you're saying, what? Yeah. Well, so does calcite. And here is why the word polymorph becomes, again, so important. You know what calcite is just a polymorph of aragonite. Aragonite is a calcium carbonate, CaCO3. Well, so when you say something belongs to its family, all the members that end in CO3, and that's how they do it, belong to what the original member is. They classify as the aragonite family. So anything that ends in CO3. So malachite, CuCO3, is a carbonate. I have to look up depending on whether it includes some of the additional atoms on that. But you have cerussite is simple, PbCO3, just a lead carbonate. Any of the basic carbonates, which you pretty much name a metal, siderite, okay? Siderite, from the Greek word sideros, meaning iron, is simple, FeCO3, iron carbonate. That belongs to the aragonite group. All right, so cerussite. This, when you pick it up, the weight, how heavy, it tells you right away it's not a calcite, that it's not a calcite. The fluorescence is unique. It has a beautiful bluish green fluorescence. Nothing like I had ever seen before. But again, cerussite. So I went and I looked up, is it even possible? Has that ever been reported as being a color of fluorescence that cerussite has shown before? And sure enough, the color blue has been reported as in some cerussites having that. Now, here's the other thing. Look at this. There's so many things to show off. So you have 3 sets of crystals. These look twinned, which cerussite is also known for. Twinned crystals, because if you look at these and you kind of line up the growth, they certainly look like they have a twinned formation. Then a stair-stepped growth. So you can see, there we go, here's the stair steps that are obvious. That is a beautiful formation in a crystal. And there you go, here you go, here, see those stair steps right there? Boy, the word was like made for that. Then look in the middle. In the middle, I had to make sure it was not another mineral. But these are little micro crystals of cerussite, except just white. Let me find those again. There they are. There we go. Ah, there we go. Dave made it work. Look at those. I had to make sure they weren't quartz. So I saw some doubly terminated, and I saw how many sides they had, and yeah, I deemed those to be Look at that. So see what I mean? You wouldn't know necessarily until you just start getting out some magnification on specimens, and then a whole new world opens up. Boom. All right. So you have a beautiful fluorescence. You have some twin crystalline growth. You have some smaller little pockets of additional crystals. But wait, there's more. What is that? I think that's just some stuff. Let me show you. Okay, so on the very back, I removed some of it, but there was still some of the, where someone had glued it onto, that's why the Perky box doesn't have its little piece of styrofoam in the bottom, because it was glued onto this, and so I removed what I could. But if you have a knife or whatever you want, and just while you're watching TV, pick away at some of it, there's a little bit of it left, but it's removable. Bar that aside, we're going to ignore this right here, because what's right there is the same as what's all across here. Dave, let's see. Let's go in and show them what you're missing upon first glance. And this is something I had not seen in a specimen ever before. And it is little orange sphalerites. There they go. You can see them everywhere in those little, I think it is silicified limestone, okay? So I think the matrix of this is silicified limestone, and maybe with some dolomite in it as well. All right, like right in the middle. Let me get a good flat area, because they're everywhere. All right, so all these orange, there you go, you see a whole bunch of them. All those orange crystals, they are scattered throughout. And as I turn this, you can see them. Oh, also, there's a vein going through here of cerussite, I think. Now, let me flip this over, and let me get it to where I'm actually going to look through one of these shiny areas that will allow, there we go, look at that. There's the orange ones I was looking for. Look at that, perfectly focused. Boom. All those orange crystals everywhere. And I made sure and referenced them against anything else they could possibly be, and sphalerite was, look at that. Now once you start seeing them, they really show up and add a wonderful touch. Great photography, Dave. Thanks for helping me. I was missing the boat there, but you have done the job. Thank you, sir. I think they, oh, wow, right there. Okay, I checked it for wolfenite. I checked it against everything else. No, it's sphalerite, and here's why. It makes sense. So when you reference and look up the sanguinade mine, that's exactly what is found there. Cerussite together with sphalerite. So it had some old information that wasn't transferable. And this is one of the very only nice French specimens I have ever had. Now, when you do some research on that particular mine, it has produced some incredible specimens over time. This is an old specimen. And just like Miss Barbara was able to reference and do research on that incredible calcite that sold that I had, and proving that it was from a time period that I had said it was for what it was. And these are some jewels. I'm finding jewels within my own collection that I have rotated out, maybe long since forgot, or maybe got in a state that I never fully investigated. This is a stunning specimen from a rare locality, and with the bonus sphalerites there as well. Look at that. Look at that. And the fluorescence. Wow. Wow. All right. And the price. It's only, compared to what something like that from a location as unique and rare as that would be something that would be really difficult to ever find. So, yeah, I just wish there were bigger sphalerites in it, right? It wouldn't be the same. It's amazing when you look like at Midnat and compare pictures, and then you look at the size area that they're taking a picture of, and sometimes you think these beautiful, gorgeous crystals, and you wish you had it, and then you read, and you know, the area being photographed is like 4 millimeters across. You know, it's like, oh, okay, my specimens probably look that good in a small area like that. From being from French, yep. Okay, only $188. $188, a true rarity. Now, I am going to continue on because I do not want to miss showing, getting these shown to you. What next? What I have next is simply a jewel of the South. It is item 113-0223. 113-0223. And let me put it on, well, here we go. Let's do it right on this. I have something so unique. Okay, look at this. Look at that. This is called sagenite, or, yeah, that's beautiful. Or there's another name given to this rare form of sagenite, and it's called sagenite of Saussure. Saussure. How I'm quite pronounce that? S-A-U-S-S-U-R-E. I think it's French. It's a person's name. And there's also sagenite of Kunz, as in Frederick Kunz, the gemologist. Sagenite is the word given to rutile. Sagenite means net. It's the Greek word for net. So, when Saussure gave the word sagenite to this form of rutile, he meant it only for rutile. Now, let me show you the pattern I'm talking about. There's several areas. Look at this. When rutile intersects and bisects each other, let's look right down in here. You're going to see when it makes parallelograms upon the intersection of the crystals. You have that pattern here, here, and then we'll get into talking about the rest of it. There's rutile throughout. Here's some other rutile needles, and we'll go in closer in a moment and look at the rutile. But first, let me show you the larger rutile. All right, see that? If we could just go in a little closer and look at that. And here is the main pattern. And look at that. This is a rarity. You're talking about from North Carolina. This is not from some far off exotic place. This is from an area just west of Charlotte. Look at those intersecting rutile needles. This isn't from somewhere like Brazil. This is made in the USA. But you know what? As rare as this type of rutile is, there is some other things additionally exotic. But we'll get there right in a minute. First, I want to make sure we explore and you get to see just how well preserved. These are quartz crystals. These other crystals you're looking at are quartz. So yes, There's actually rutilated quartz. You can see rutile needles. Look at this one right there, penetrating the quartz. All right, look at that one. Look at that one reflecting right there. Look at this little one. This is how delicate this piece had to be kept and taken care of. Look at these little crystals. Look at these bridging crystals. Look at the quartz crystal. Look at the rutilated quartz. See that? Look at the rutile inside that quartz crystal. You know how many hours I spent looking at this? Oh, look at that golden rutile needle right through there. You can spend hours and hours. I did. Look at that larger rutile. Then watch this, okay? So here's the muscovite mica. You can also see the different angles that rutile are, extending down into a pseudomorph. We'll talk about that in a minute. Look at up here. Look at the golden needles going right into that quartz crystal. Look at those. Look at how fine those crystals are, bridging between other crystals without having been damaged. Let me show you. Oh, look at that. I would love to be a little guy going way back in there. It's probably a monster spider or something in there. Look at back in that. You have, oh, look at the rutile glowing. Okay, wait. There's something else here. All right, well, look, here's what makes it the sagenitic of Saussure. Add my 1-year French class accent to that. All right, what I want to show you, it is green. I am not kidding you. Right back in there is one of the places, fuchsite. So I showed you the muscovite. There's another greenish crystal. Fuchsite is a chromium-bearing muscovite. And there are several of the green crystals of fuchsite around on this piece to be seen. This is a three-dimensional crystal. I mean crystal cluster. I have no idea where its actual contact point was, but there's something to view on every side of this. There is one individual little green crystal that is stunning. It's a little green, completely clean. Look at those crystals. Crystal of fuchsite, and a marvel to look at. All right, so what has happened? Siderite. Siderite, we talked about that earlier. Siderite is an iron carbonate, right? An iron carbonate. So again, because it's carbonate like that, it belongs to the aragonite family, oddly enough. Doesn't seem like it would, but yep, due to the ending combination, chemical formula of CO3. Now, siderite forms these monoclinic crystalline shapes. Limonite has replaced the siderite. It's a carbonate, iron carbonate. It dissolves readily. And then we know limonite is, limonite's basically a iron oxide, or forms of iron oxide. It can be partially hematite, partially this, ochre, all these combinations, but almost always it will leave yellow on powder on your hands. That's how you know you got limonite. Look at this, rutilated quartz crystals. Now, Asif is going to show you a picture that is the most verifiable proof I have ever seen to guarantee the origin of a specimen. Let's take a look at that picture. Yep, no problem. When you think of how rare of a specimen one is like this, you think of places other than, especially for us here in Georgia, where this is about 3.5 hours from here. And that, as opposed to another continent where you often find these exotic minerals, or that cerussite from France. No, for us, this is in our backyard. And I researched thousands of specimens and only one matched the identical nature of this piece. Can we zoom in on that one picture? Make it any bigger? Because what I want to show you is what is so unique, that out of all of them, none of them had this crosshatch pattern on the pseudomorph until I came across the specimen that you're looking at. You can already see the sagenite, which makes it completely identifiable. There's only a few places in the world that rutile is formed like that. But in the actual picture, which is in Mindat, when you blow it up, we lost some of the clarity, but you can see in the actual picture the exact matching pattern. So let's go back a little bit smaller in size, so we get some of the clarity back. Okay, you can see right there, Shelby, Cleveland County, North Carolina. There is Boiling Springs, which produces some very close, similar items. So between Boiling Springs and Shelby, they're right next to each other. And you can see the comment at the bottom. These are pictures out of Mindat. So if you want to see the actual ones, thank you. Let's go to the actual specimen. If you want to see the original picture, what you're going to see, look at these lines. These, I wish I knew the science about them more so. Maybe Barbara can do some homework on that. But they are on that specimen perfectly. And I had already determined that it was a pseudomorph, limonite, after, and then when I saw that, it's like, okay, well, that confirms what I had confirmed. And then only so many things have to match up before you know that you are exactly on the origin, because this one did not come with information. And so in spending hours trying to research it, all of a sudden when I came across that picture and the combination, it's like bingo. And I knew that this collection had other specimens from the deep south, from down here in this area. So I knew, and from North Carolina, some of the pyrites and some other things, so that that it was a collector that had specialized in some of these items that are found in like North Carolina. This is just amazing. Let's give it one more tour of, because I wanted to try to find that green crystal. Dave, if you can find it. If not, we'll leave it for someone else. Wait, is that it right there, maybe? There is a really well-defined fuchsite crystal that is a beautiful green, and it looked like a lovely six-sided crystal. And that is the fun of getting a specimen like this. See, what exactly is that back there? There's something more needs to be discovered in regards to that. And when you have a piece that shows something cool on every single side of it, it is easy to get lost for a long, long time. Wait, what is that? Maybe, I don't know. I just had so much fun. I'm going to leave the fun. Look at back in that cave. I don't think we looked down in there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the size of those rutile needles. That means they're actually intersecting these other crystals. And how fun is that? And then look at that. Look at that rutilated quartz. And then all the bridging crystals. I love this piece. But the rarity of it is beyond even ever trying to find something like that locally. That's just a stunning piece. So the name is appropriate to sagenite, meaning net, because you certainly do have that pattern not only in the rutile, but you seem to have, see, this is what I was wondering. This pattern seems like a net pattern almost also, and I'm not sure if somehow the rutile has anything to do with that cross-hatched pattern of the pseudomorph replacement or not. So anyway, this also may have gibbsite. So you may see some little white areas on it, and it could be gibbsite. Not saying for certain. I'll leave you to do some homework on that. So price on this, it's an exceptional opportunity, and the rarity of it cannot even be measured. It's just one of those, to take that, for me to look that long to try to find anything even similar, it just wasn't. So nevertheless, I have, of course, a price on this substantially less than what you might even find anything like it for, and only $248. Only $248 on that. Wow. Wow. Okay, now let's see. Clock is ticking on me. I have something here. There's two of them. So let me have a moment to set this up, and I'll be right back. And when I say museum grade, I am not kidding. It's so easy to put the word museum grade on this. It's not one of those even borderline issues. All right. Okay, first, size. Look, here's my hand. All right. Now, before I put up a price, let me go ahead and, Asif, could you pull up that last picture, the scolecite one? I'm going to show you this. You can go on the internet. You can look this one up yourself. There's one other one. I didn't need to show you any more. This says it all. Okay, this specimen you're getting ready to see, you can yourself look it up. It's right there, where you would find anything else if you just put in a Google. This is from the exact same place, the Nasik district in Maharashtra. Now, if you see the stand, you see that stand? That stand is smaller than the stands I even use. So, yeah, thanks. Okay, so you can see in reference, this is a bigger stand. Can we go right back to that picture? Okay, you see the stand they're using? That's one of those little smaller picture stands. That specimen, you could probably look it up. I didn't bother. It's maybe 4 or 5 inches, all right? It's small. It does not have any still bite, and there is nothing spectacular. Okay, enough of that one. Let's go look at the real thing. The real thing meaning how a real scolecite should look. I love when you have these spray patterns. I love when there is a still bite base. This piece, I can actually pick it up. These are not as fragile as you think. Oh, here's what I really like about this one. This outstandingly much larger crystal. And as we spin this around, you can see there is not a bad side. Look at the sprays here. Now, Lomentite. Let me teach you how to spot Lomentite. Lomentite is another zeolite, and it likes to hang around on the other crystals or along the base or on the crystals themselves. And it will have the end of them often has a slanted termination. Let's go in just a little bit closer for a moment. Look at how all these individual sprays form. And, you know, some will bridge, others, they just find their own way independently through all these other ones. And, okay, here's what I wanted to show you. The red. You see the red on some of these? That is not a dirt or anything. Those, oh, wait, Dave, that was a great shot you have right there. Showing, hold on, where's my, there we go. Watch me bust them. Look at those. Those are little bridging crystals between other ones. Look at how fine those are. The red in this other crystal, that is heulandite. Now, I did not have the room to write all the information down on the tag, so you need to use my voice to make your notes so that you do have all the information on these. If you find a clear white little crystal somewhere, most likely it's going to be a apophyllite. As I turn this, let's go to the contact point between the two and where the stilbite is. There is Lawmentite crystals, and you just have to look and find them because they are mixed in, and they may not be too many of them, but I did see some of them, and they may be visible from above. Let me actually show you that I can pick this up without everything falling apart. Look at that. You could display this like this if you wanted to. Here's the bottom. It is in a wonderful, wonderful strong base, and I just did that bravely, and you can see nothing came apart. Let me see. I was going to look to see if I could find an easy Lawmentite crystal, but I'll show you what they look like on the next piece. Okay, so look at the size of this. All right, you saw the price of the other. Now, I shouldn't really do it, but I do need my 2 front teeth. So I'm going to make this at a buying opportunity that if you want to buy a quarter for a nickel, this is it. I am making this specimen basically a end of summer sale price. Shawn needs money. I have actually lost my mind. I'm going to so regret it. There is some beautiful pinks in here, by the way. You can see I'm stalling because once I say that number, it's out there, and all of you have bought every single one I have offered. It is because it's easy to price shop and realize just how well I bought these, but that was supposed to be my retirement, but I guess this is retirement. So see how I'm talking with myself? You can see that professional help is probably the next thing on the list besides my 2 front teeth. No, here we go. All right. I don't know what to tell you. $648. $648. Compare the width, the size, the height, the aesthetic beauty to it, like that one big tall crystal, just like that one. So, you know, you could actually get displays that spin like this, that you can just spin on ball bearings. I don't know I don't know. That might be the best angle. You could change it all around. Maybe that, because then it shows that big crystal. I don't know. But I have another one coming up. Let's take a break so I can bring it out. All right. This is it. This is the big one. 6 years here, I have probably never shown anything so stunningly dramatic and something so exquisitely rare. This could make the cover of any mineral magazine. This could make the cover or be in any museum. Cover of Rock and Gem. It has, well, okay, so this is the one that sat in the middle of our dining room table for years. And so when I asked Raven to retrieve it, she said, "What are you talking about? It's not there." So I thought she was pulling a fast one on me. But when we had that work done on the house, she had actually moved it and forgot. So I told her to try my son's room. Of course, I just say that. He's never there. But it's a room that we have that's just closed off, sealed off, kept nice and absolutely clean. And that was fantastic because there was no dust or anything on this. If there was, you could just poof it off, blow it off. But this is what I mean. With these, it looks like a broom, collects everything, but not this. This is beautiful. Let me show you what Lawmentite looks like. Let's go in close on this one. This has lots of Lawmentite. You're going to see every one of these crystals here before long. You're going to start noticing the Lawmentite on them. But until then, look at the clarity. The clarity, look at the length, look at how they terminate. These aren't like broken off. This is, they grew, they did all they could do. Stunning. They look like straws of glass. And as we come down to the lower part, look at that. Here we go. There we go. Look at those. There, I see one. Perfect. What I wanted to show you for a termination. Okay, everything you see, all those white crystals. I'm not excited or anything, am I? I have never seen this on TV, and you'll see it on these. Dave, the HD screen. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to try to find right where you are at because I want to show everybody. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going right in there and bust a crystal. No, you see that crystal right there? Right there. Great job there, Dave. Okay, hold on. I'll go in and add a little magic. All right, look at that. That crystal with that type of termination, in other words, not flat across, is what you look for. And the very white nature of it. They're not clear. They're white compared to scolecite. See this one right above my tweezer tip? There's another one. Actually, every single one you see on these crystals is a lomentite crystal. See, there's another one with that not squared off termination, but that angled termination. Now, in this specimen, I have never seen so much lomentite. Look at here, look at all the straws. This is all lomentite that has grown on top. Usually I only see a little bit here or there. This has angel dusted the entire piece. Look at with these crystals. And as Dave moves across the front, you can see the pink colors to the scolecite. Look at the clear scolecites. There is no end to all the places you could look and all the unique formations in this and the different directions going off everywhere. Now, okay, so we covered the end. Let's cover all the way underneath at the black and start here because I'm going to spin this around. Excellent. Look at that. Oh, those are perfect lomentites. Perfect example. All right, let me get I got to be like the professor with my, yeah. Okay, look at those. And as we move along here, you can see still bites. Okay, so you have your cream still bites with lomentite on those. Okay, you can tell the still bites when they come to that kind of V-shaped point coming right along here. Here is what's pretty much the underside is what you're seeing, the way this angles back. I'll show you that after the pass through here. Look at that. Look at that. You could not want for a better aesthetic presentation of multiple zeolites hidden back in here. Now, as we come away from that shot, I'm going to show you that this is self-displaying perfectly. There's nothing getting smashed. What you're seeing, look at my hand down here. First, let me show you, do the hand thing. I didn't do the hand thing. Look, yeah, takes, what, a couple hands. There's my light. Look at this. This is a monster specimen. Look at how big that is bigger than cabinet quality specimens. Okay, so what I'm showing is the way this is displayed. The entire underside, you can see I put my hand here. This is all gorgeous. This is all beautiful. Now, let me show you what it looks like as we turn it. It's 11 pounds, by the way. Okay, so here, in reference to the second largest specimen I've ever shown, the other one, this weighs over 5,000 grams. That's 11 pounds. The other one was 3,000 grams. It was 4 pounds lighter. Now, some of the dimensions were smaller. Well, all of the dimensions were smaller, but the weight, and here's the thing, weight you don't always go by because it could be just an extra bottom weight that shouldn't have been there or cut off. In this case, every bit of the specimen is value. In other words, there's a beautiful base, matrix base, that you don't even want to hide. Those are gorgeous crystals coming out from there. So what you're buying, you're getting every pound of value. As I turn this, remember it's 11 pounds, look at the end. Look at that. Okay, if this was only this view right here, what we have right here, let's say the specimen's size was only what you're looking at right there, that would be your entire value's worth of look. But there's so much more. Wait till you see. Now, as he takes us in a little closer here, you're going to see the Lomontite stand out. And always be wary to find another zeolite, like an apophyllite, a heulandite, all kinds of goodies. Okay, now let me show you. Let me show you this side. Look at this. This is where the Lomontite hangs out. Look at that. It makes it look like it is snow covered. It makes it truly like it has been covered in snow. And you see the way this actually rocks? It doesn't harm anything to do that. So you can actually get underneath there, like I showed you from the other side. Makes it easy and safe to pick up and move. I moved it over here. You ought to see, you know, what you do, you put it in the middle. Well, shipping will know how to do it. Look at this. Look at this. And then as we come out just a little bit so you can see the entire height and the look all together. Look at that. Look at that. It looks like trees trying to make their way out of the snow, but that's only one view. Okay, so look at that angle. Oh, by the way, let me show you. I also kept, there were some, and if any break off, don't get a tear or anything. That's just gonna happen. There's plenty there, but if it happens, keep them. Look at, I'm including these, and let me show you, one of these has Lomontite crystals on it, so you can study. Look at that, so you can study Lomontite, and remember what the word scolecite means? In Greek, the word scolex means worm. And you know why? Because when you put a blowpipe to these crystals, now a blowpipe is basically air, you know, like a butane torch. It's just air with regular gas. Let's go and look close for a moment at this as I tell them about worms. Look at, see those crystals, so you can learn. Look at, see those crystals on there? The Lomontite, that's so you can learn. Now, I gave some plain ones. You know why? You can have some fun. Use a little blowtorch or whatever, because worm, you know why it's named worm? When you heat those up, and I haven't done it yet, I was going to, they're supposed to curl up like a worm, and that's one way you can tell scolecite. Yep, so I'm going to try that. So as we flip this around on the last beautiful museum tour of truly a museum specimen, let me go ahead and do one more thing. I want to show you that this can be picked up. Look at that, and look at it from above. Look at that specimen. If that is not, that's beyond size or cabinet quality, and museum quality, every inch of it. A true treasure. And this is the largest, finest one that I had ever had. This was the one that that Raven and I have been so enjoying for so long, and it's time to share it. It's time to share it. Now, obviously, a specimen like this in a market, it would be a lot of money, but that's not what you're watching this show for. You're watching your show because you can get something affordable that is and looks and would be a lot of money. I'm offering this specimen, and you know it's going to be the lowest. You're not going to ever see it lower because I can't take this back and forth. I mean, it's going to be here. If it doesn't sell this time around, I mean, I am fine with putting it back in the home collection, because at the price I'm offering it for, it's never going to be less than that. This guy, if I know those of you that are into these big, beautiful specimens, don't mess around and know a deal when you see one. So that's why I'm going to make this an exceptional value at only $1,288. $1,288, and that is a one of the finest of its kind you'll ever see. And remember, this was over a decade ago, or about a decade ago when I got these. There is no more mining outside of Mumbai in those quarries. Those quarries all closed. the people outgrew them. It became dangerous, shut down. There's not other scolicites like this. There's just not. Let me see how much time. Okay, so I'm not going to move it. I'm going to show one more item in front of it, and that's all the time we will have. But I sure hope you take advantage of it while it's here this time, because, or the other one, or get, between everybody, get both of them. Yeah. So we don't have time to show that amazing knife. I want to tell you a little bit more about it than what you're going to see, but what I am going to show you is something we touched on earlier. Let's look at item 100731. 100731. And we talked about kyanite. Look at this. And against a specimen like that, it's just beautiful. And Raven and I couldn't understand. We were just talking when she was saying that. She goes, that's a stunning kyanite specimen. I said, I know. So those earrings that you just saw, they are cut out of this quality right here. If I had them out right now, I'd show you again. But those kyanite earrings, yeah, this is jewelry quality kyanite. You just saw it in those earrings, this quality. Look at this specimen. This would be one if you wanted to take it apart and use the stones, use the crystals, see what else is inside. Look at that. Look how blocky that one is. Wow. Oh yeah, this is a super value for someone. Anyway, especially if you want it for only $28. Only $28 on that. And let me see if there's a last sneaky item I can throw in to make it. I know I got a, that peach morgan, I'll show another day. Okay, here we go. Last item of the show. So, we are going to end it with a bang, because you know what? All things in life start with carbon somewhere, right? So do diamonds. Diamonds, carbon, that's all it is. Kind of odd. No other gemstone, it's just a single element. All right, how about these? I have not sold these. I have never taken them out of the parcel just because of the hassle. But if that's what I need to do, then that's what I will. Look at these. These are excellent replacement goods. And you know what? If you ever need to replace a baguette, you need lots of them. So the one will fit exactly the way you need. So you have a mix of rounds and baguettes, a carat and a quarter's worth. How about this? How about a price? Okay, I'm going to test you of less than 40 a carat. Make it $48 as the end of the show special and summer sale as well. $48. We'll be right back with the trivia. All right, it is that time, trivia time. And again, the rules, you can watch it as many times as you want, but when it comes up to asking the trivia question, then you can't, after reading the question, you can't go back and watch it, because the whole idea is so it allows you to try to recall and try to remember, and we all need help at that. I know I do. So I hope you enjoyed the show. There was a lot of neat, interesting items. Some items may be a little bit more, but everything was at a huge discount to the market. If you're interested ever in a carat total weighted diamonds, get them both. No restrictions on them. Get them both. I mean, what, half caraters or in the 200s of that kind of quality? Even if you don't know what you need to do with them, you may want to give one at that low of a price for a Christmas gift to a niece, or a single earring for yourself, whether you're guy or gal. When you're walking down the sidewalk and you have a nickel in your hand and you see a quarter laying on the sidewalk, and you have the choice of bending over and picking that quarter up and leaving a nickel in its place. Take your nickel, put it where the quarter was, and take the quarter. I would hope that that would be your choice. I know it would mine. Now, of course, that's not using the real value, because I think a lot of people would actually step over a quarter for what it might buy these days. But as a metaphor, I can't haul that big specimen back and forth again, and it's not something I want to decorate the office. That is, like I said, the main centerpiece. Instead of some floral decoration, if you are a rock and mineral hound nut passionate person about your specimens, what better place I thought of that was safe, because we all know we don't use our formal dining rooms. What better place to be able to enjoy it, see it, and it serve a functional role where a normal family would have some sissy flowers, but a rock hounds family, we're going to have rock and mineral specimens displayed. This is the size specimen you need. This is well protected. As a matter of fact, I think that's a great place to put it. And you usually have nice lighting over it, right? This is a 360 degree specimen. That'd be one to put on one of those little ball bearing turntables. Just an idea. Center place. You know, the zeolites have a lot to do with water and with their ability. Well, anyway, we've talked about that before. Don't be afraid, though, to get them wet. There's not like a water issue with them. It is perfectly fine if you need to clean them and whatnot. So, yeah, that's. I hope one of you makes it your home, and if I know who it is, fine. If not, fine. I understand that as well. I just want to know that to any one of you, I know it would be going to a great place. Now, there might be some of you out there that see a chance to make $1, and there is absolutely every at what you're being able to pick that specimen up for. What it would normally sell for, it leaves you a lot of room. A lot of room. Just don't tell me that you sold it. Just let me know you lovingly brought it into your home and you put a little blanket around it. All right, here we go. Ready, set? Question number 1. Minerals like scolecite, stilbite, lawmantyte belong to a particular group or family of minerals. What is the name of that group that it is associated with? Next question. The increased presence of what element causes this mineral to become darker and submetallic looking? So the increase of what element causes it to become more opaque, darker, and submetallic looking? All right. I think 2 easy ones. We could have gotten into the sagenite of Saussure. By the way, I want to tell you real quick, because I didn't finish on that thought. Remember, sagenite of Saussure, they actually include that last part as part of the name sagenite. Of course, it like always travels around abbreviated, but it was interesting because there's a difference between sagenite of Kunz, of the Kunz, George Frederick Kunz. So, I get that right in order? His determination for sagenite included not just rutile, because how many of you now are familiar with, you hear of sagenitic quartz or sagenitic agate, and that is other minerals with crystal growth, intruding crystal growths in them. So, it could be actinolite, it could be rutile, it could be any other mineral, and it doesn't have to have that net cross-intersecting pattern. So I was looking at what they call sagenite of Kunz, and you know, it looks like the scolasite, crystals going everywhere. But sagenite of Saussure, or let's just say of Shawn, huh? How's that? Is rutile, specifically rutile, nothing else. See, this was going to be one of your questions, but I thought, no, I'll take it easy. So sagenite of Saussure, it's so easy to say Saussure, or say sagenite of Shawn Shore. Yeah, that's Shawn Shore. Was that? No, is rutile, only rutile, and it has to have the intersecting net pattern that it was named for. Net, the word sagenite, meaning net. And of course, a net has that diagonal intersecting pattern. So those are the two differences, but they're not going to be on your test. Okay, so everybody, I hope this summer is ending. I hope this heat is ending, but it's not yet here in Georgia. Oh, unbearable as we approach the Labor Day weekend. So hopefully I'm going to be able to put together a great Labor Day show for you and additional end of summer specials. But again, these guys, these beauties, they're only going to travel once in and once back out. Take advantage of them. And as much as I'll miss them, knowing that they are going to go to any one of you is going to be a fantastic home. And you know, I got to admit, decades ago, my whole idea was to hoard them, keep them, and never share them with anybody. Sorry. No, I'll miss them. But they had a yeah. No one could have taken better care of them. All right. God bless all of you, and you know, thank you for your continued support. I couldn't ask for any more than all of you and your kind words. And but you know, if I show them, it means I'm willing to sell them, and I'm making them prices that making it almost impossible for you not to get them. So take advantage of it. All right. Love y'all. Thank you. And I'll see you next Monday.